All right, as I record this, the NBA draft is about 2 hours away. Found myself with some time here, so I'm going to do a last-second mock draft. This is completely unplanned. It's just going to go how it goes. I didn't come into this with any sort of script. But, of course, we do know number one overall is going to be Cooper Flagg. We've known that for a full year now, at least. Number two is going to be Dylan Harper. That's pretty much confirmed as well. I could see the argument for a couple other players there, BJ Edgecombe, maybe even Concanipple there. But when I say I could see the argument, that doesn't mean I think they should do that or they will do that. They're going to go with Dylan Harper, the Spurs will. Number three is sort of where the draft begins. Everything we're hearing about Ace Bailey is really weird. I think he honestly makes the most sense to pick here for the Sixers, but that's an on-court assessment. Everything else I would stay far away from. I'm going to go with BJ Edgecombe, which seems to be the rumors. Number four is the first selection I'm going to make here that's not predetermined, but is rumored that I also agree with. I'm going to go with Concanipple here. I think he makes a ton of sense for the Hornets. Number five, the Utah Jazz. Everything coming out of the Jazz right now sounds like they really like Jeremiah Fears, and I have my own thoughts on him as a player and him as a prospect, but he seems to be who the Jazz are going to go with. I can't say I agree with that pick, but it seems like what they'll go with. Number six, if Ace Bailey is here, he's a Washington Wizard. That's the long and short of it. He's told the Hornets and Jazz allegedly that he does not want to play there. He has not said the same thing to the Wizards. This is great value with pick number six. You're definitely concerned about how he's conducted himself during the pre-draft process here, but who knows how much of that is him and how much of that is his representation. I think it makes sense for both sides, too, for him to end up on the Wizards. Number seven is a strange pick. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans had traded up by this point. They have just traded for Jordan Poole, and while I think there is definitely a hole on their team in terms of lead ball handling, at least long-term, DeJounte Murray is not your answer for the future. I don't love the value here of either Jokic or Demin for them, and I think right now it's sort of looking like they will go with Trey Johnson, who, makes sense. Jordan Poole is not your long-term shooting guard either. Number eight, this is an interesting pick for the Nets because they could go quite a few different ways. If their plan is to trade Nick Claxton and they have a deal in place for that, I think it's easily Mollywatch. As of right now, that's just conjecture. We don't know if Nick Claxton will be traded, so I'm going to go with Jokic. I think if you can get yourself a lead guard of the future, that is just perfect value at pick number eight. I also would not be very surprised at all if the Nets had traded up by this point with their billions of picks. Number nine, the Raptors. I've seen this in a lot of mocks. The rumors are coming out. He has been talking in interviews, dropping little hints that this pick is going to be Noah Essengay. I think that's an interesting pick. If they want another 6'8" wing, which they have three of already, I guess I could see this. It is a very Masai Ujiri pick, if I'm honest, to take a 6'8" versatile wing with a lot of athletic potential. So I think I'll go with Essengay there. Number 10, Phoenix is ecstatic. They sprint this pick to the podium. Come on, Mollywatch. Number 11, this is an interesting pick to me as well. I could definitely see if the plan is, and it should be, to move on from DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams. You'll need another big. I think Derek Queen could play with Klingon in some lineups. I think it makes sense. I'm going to go with that. Number 12, Carter Bryant is a very Bulls pick in my approximation. I could also see Colin Murray-Boyles here. They have a lot of needs. They're not a very good team. Patrick Williams has not worked out as a top 4 pick in, I believe it was the 2020 draft. I think you take Carter Bryant to sort of play that role you were hoping that Patrick Williams could fill. 13, the Atlanta Hawks. Is this pick still owned by the Atlanta Hawks? I think it is. I don't think they traded this one. Either way, it seems like Clint Capella's out the door. They brought in Porzingis. Do you want to play him that many minutes with his health and injury concerns? I don't think you do. I think you need big man depth. I think they go Joe Berenger. Number 14 for the Spurs. They've done a lot with their roster. We have them taking Dylan Harper, which I think will happen. They've got a lot of guard play. They've got Wemby now. They still need more shooting. I think Liam McNeely is a pretty good fit there. Now, rumors about this number 15 pick is that the Thunder have talked a lot to and worked out a lot with Cedric Coward, who is ranked, honestly, criminally low on this big board. I think number 15 makes a lot of sense for him, and that probably will be the pick. The Grizzlies, I mean, they would love some sort of scoring punch that they've lost from trading Desmond Bane, who's no longer there. Do they take a potential play on Will Riley? Do they go for a sort of win-now move with Colin Murray-Boyles? I think they'll probably be competitive this next season. I'm going to go with CMB there for them. The Timberwolves, if you still have faith in Rob Dillingham, Demon's not really in play here. I think Thomas Sorber makes the most sense, especially if they were to lose Naz Reid or even Julius Randle, who plays some big man minutes. They definitely need more depth at that position. Alright, number 18 here for the Wizards. If Yegor Demon is still available, they're definitely taking him. It just makes too much sense there. We're into a crazy run of Nets picks here. I think Will Riley, the potential makes a lot of sense for them to take a flyer there. The Heat, this pick is basically confirmed to be Walter Clayton. The Jazz here, I think they're definitely not sold on Sexton, Clarkson. Keontae George and Collier, they were drafted by the previous regime. They're not very deep at guard. Even with Fears taken, I think Jace Richardson is still probably the pick here, just to get more guard play, and bring in a new player that this current regime believes in. Back to the Nets here. I'd be shocked if this pick was still owned by the Nets, or I guess these next two, if both of them are still Nets picks by the end of the night, I would be flabbergasted. Regardless, I think they'd take the flyer on Danny Wolf here, see if his game could translate to the NBA level. And then next up, the Pelicans. I think they make sense for Asa Newell here. Yeah, it's more big man depth. They don't have a ton of that. Maybe you can play him at the 4 or 5. Zion's always hurt. There's no guarantee. I think they'd love to take like a true lead guard, but there's... I'm just talking myself into it. They're going Traore here. Alright, the OKC Thunder. They also need big man depth. I think this is Maxime Renaud. The Orlando Magic. This is probably the Asa Newell team. They definitely want shooting. I'm looking at the available players here. There's not really a ton of it left. Maybe they would go here with Nick Clifford. I think that could make some sense. I don't know if they need more wings though. They've got some big men, but not a ton of value out of them. They would also love a guard, but there's definitely not anyone available there. I think Ben Seraph is in play here. I'm going to give him Asa Newell. Alright, the Brooklyn Nets, they have back-to-back picks here. I think one of them could be Hugo Gonzalez. Really good defensive prospect. If you can get the jumper along, put him in the G League, lock him in the gym, he could end up being a good player. Yeah, they will not own all these picks by the end of the night. I'm going to go with Drake Powell. He's just a pure potential prospect at this point, which is sort of what the Nets might be looking for there. 28 for the Celtics. I mean, the East is going to be really weak next year. They're another team that would love an actual lead guard prospect that's of that caliber at this pick. I think they'll go Nick Clifford. He's not a lead guard, definitely, but he's just a high field player that feels like a Celtics pick to me. 29th, the Suns here. I'm going to give him Rasheer Fleming. I think he's going to be a first-round pick. They definitely need everything other than two guards, so best available here. And then the Clippers, I'm going Ryan Kalkbrenner. They need big man depth. It's basically only Zubats. Ben Simmons is not your long-term backup center. And that is the first-round draft. Hopefully I get 100% of those right. There's no chance of that, but thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you agree with, what you disagree with. If you're watching this after the fact, feel free to laugh at me for being wrong about a lot of these. And I'll catch you in the next one.